Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. It is Tuesday, and like I said back on Sunday, um, we recently made a purchase. We were LGS hopping, and for like $40, I found something that I thought was pretty cool, and is really going to help us with moving forward with more draft. What we found was the legendary hero decks. Now, obviously, I already opened this a little bit. I wanted to make the title shots, the thumbnails for the videos. Otherwise, I would have had this. This was still factory sealed when we had bought it. So this was really cool. And what was great about this was like Heroes versus Nordics versus the Phantom Knights. So again, this is a cool box. We're going to be going over the Phantom Knights. I've already pulled them out of the box. And so we're going to review this as well as sleeving it up here in a bit. And for anybody who's still asking me what sleeves I'm using the Ultra Pro, the mats. Obviously, we're using the small because we're doing some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff today. But they do also make the standard card games sized for just about every other card game, I think it is. Digimon, DB Super, One Piece, Magic, Pokemon. They're all using a larger card size. This was basically just Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think Card Fight Vanguard, for the most part, stateside. I mean, Japanese Naruto cards at one point were the smaller game size as well. So, that's what it is. But yeah, we need to open this up. Let me see if this thing tells me how many cards are in it. It does not. So it's going to be at least 40 count in the main. And I do know that it comes with some extra deck stuff. Oh my goodness, we are going to have a problem here. Like, I can see it. It's right there. But it just did not want to flick up so that we could get to these cards. So again, these are going to be a first for me to add to my collection of draft cards. And as you can tell, we'll just sort through this real quick. We'll take out all the extra deck stuff. Looks like we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards for the extra deck, which is spectacular. You know what? I'm going to take a second. I'm going to organize everything. I'll be right back. All right, I did a pretty rough organize real quick. So now we're just going to rate the deck by going through the deck. So the first thing it has a copy of the Knights of Ancient Cloak. This card would be in attack mode. You can target a dark monster on the field. Change this card to defense position. If you do, that monster gains 800 attack and defense until the end of the opponent's turn. You can choose to banish this from your graveyard to add one Phantom Knights card from your deck to the hand with a different name. Each effect is once per turn, and what I love about this is the way that it just sort of lends over its power. That's awesome. I've always thought these guys were really cool. They would make great D&D concept. So that's like card one. Another one we get is the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots. So if you control a Phantom Knights monster, you can special summon this from the hand. You can only special summon copies of this once per turn in this way. You can banish this card from the graveyard to add one Phantom Knight spell or trap from the deck to the hand, using this effect only once per turn. So again, it's a good little extender, does more job. Just a good card. Let's see, we got the Phantom Knights of Ragged Gloves. Again, this is a cool one. A Dark Xyz monster that was summoned using this card as material gains the following effect. If it was Xyz summoned, it gains 1,000 attack value. You can banish this card from the graveyard to send one Phantom Knights card from the deck to the graveyard. Each effect is once per turn. And again, that's a pretty strong effect considering how these guys work. So, good stuff there. We get one copy of the Phantom Knights of Cloven Helm. If a Phantom Knight a card or cards is sent to the graveyard, this card gains 500 attack value. You will notice it does not say till the end of the turn. So just keep that in mind. You can banish this in the graveyard during the end phase of this turn. Add one Phantom Knight card from the graveyard to the hand. You can use each effect once per turn. So again, this is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. We get a fragile armor, and I'm seeing now that there's actually some duplicates in here. So the Phantom Knights of fragile armor. If they face up, Phantom Knights monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effects. You could special summon, or sorry, if they are destroyed by battle or card effect, special summon this from the hand. You can banish this from the graveyard and send one Phantom Knights card from the hand to the graveyard. Draw one card, each effect once per turn. Then there was a second of the cloak, a second of the boots, the gloves, the helm, and the armor. So I should have said there were a bunch of 2-ofs. So we'll just go ahead and do this, and then I'll organize this later, because this is just a review. So again, that's pretty cool. 5 cards, 5 different monsters, 10 cards right there. That's not bad. We get some amazing effects in here. We get a copy of Armageddon Knight, and anybody who played during the time period where Phantom of Darkness was like brand new, and you ended up playing against a lot of the Dark Armed control, Armageddon Knight's amazing. When summoned, send 1 dark from deck to grave, which again, all of the Phantom Knights are dark, which means we could start going in on the effects and doing a bunch of cool stuff. We got the Blue Mountain Butter Spy. Cannot be normal summoned or set. When you normal summon a warrior monster, you may special summon this from the hand. Cannot be used as synchro material, which is fair. But it does allow it to be used for Xyz material, which, again, this deck was basically updated for the Link cards. That's what this whole box of decks was about, was updating existing archetypes. So again, that's not bad. We have the Rescue Ferret. And again, I love the Rescue cards. They're all cute. This little dude's got like what appears to be the largest flashlight across his back. But, you know, he's probably a normal ferret, so about kitty cat sized. Effect, you can shuffle this card you control into the deck. Special summon monsters from the deck, except same name whose total star levels equals 6 to the zones a Link monster or monsters would be pointing to. Those monsters have their effects negated and are destroyed during the end phase. Use this effect only once per turn. Again, this is pretty good. This helps us set up Link plays or Xyz. I don't think it said anything about Synchro. So again, Rescue Ferret just kind of good. We're going to get a copy of the Junk Forward in here. If you have no monsters, if you control no monsters, special summon this from the hand. So again, this summons, Blue Mountain comes out, and then suddenly we're building a board and building a Link state, which was nice. They gave us the Kagemucha Knight. If you normal summon a level 3 monster, you can special summon this from the hand. Again, cannot be used for Synchro. Again, they're looking at like Junk Synchron with this. But what this will allow you to do is get into those Xyz plays, as well as the Link building. So again, cool. We get Cock-a-Doodle-Doo, which is probably one of my favorite like fun arts, because this is just a little rooster with like 3 hamsters. I love it. It's a tuner. It's 5 stars. They made him just big enough to where you can't get him with Battle Searchers. The effect, if there are no monsters on the field, you can special summon this card from the hand as a level 3 monster. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no cards, you may special summon this from the hand as a level 4 monster. If this face-up card would leave the field, banish it instead. And the trick here is knowing that you're either going to play it as a 3 or a 4 for the Xyz. You don't actually care that this one's a tuner. That was the whole reason they put this one in. And again, felt good. One of my favorite cards got a printing in here, was the Effect Veiler, probably one of the most used hand traps. And I say this because, like, number one, Effect Veiler has been around since it was one of the Duelist packs. But Effect Veiler, I think, has seen more play overall than Ash Blossom, even though at this point in 2025, I would assume Ash Blossom is still considered the more generically better hand trap. So that would be the monster board the deck came with. And again, if you were like me, you probably bought 3 boxes of this. So you have play sets of everything. Actually, you have 2 play sets of everything across the top. So this is going to be great for draft because, again, you get straight into having a lot of just the basic archetype. Next up, we're going to get into the spells. We got a Dark Eruption. Target a dark monster with 1500 or less attack at the grave. Add it back to hand. It's always a good card, especially with as low power as a lot of the Phantom Knights are. Dark Hole for Disruption. Foolish Burial to trigger effects. It's basically just the spell body of Armageddon Knight in this deck. Monster Reborn, because it's always good. The Phantom Knight's Spear. Now, this one was pretty cool. It's a continuous. Each time your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a Phantom Knight's monster you control, inflict 500 damage to the opponent immediately after resolution. If a dark monster you control will be destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect, you can banish this from the graveyard instead. So again, you see this get tossed more often than not out of deck lists, but when we're just playing around to play around, this is something I wouldn't mind see go to the graveyard. On an upgrade, Foolish Burial Goods might be a good option for this. Just be good. Continuing in, we got the Reinforcement of the Army, Groot card, 2 copies of the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic launch. Again, it's going to be a quick play Rank Up Magic, so during the main phase, target 1 Dark Xyz you control with no material, special summon from your extra deck 1 Dark Xyz monster that is a rank higher than the monster you control, using it as material, and if you do, attach this card as an additional material. This will be considered an Xyz summon. Transfer materials to the special summon monster. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 Dark Xyz that you control, attach 1 the Phantom Knight's monster from the hand to the monster as material. Just lets you get into the effects, and we will see those effects when we get to the extra deck. They did give us a foiled out Twin Twisters, and I thought this was a great card. This was like the first increase or like buff, I think, of just straight MST, because it's just MST for the cost of discarding a card, and then you get to just target up to 2 spell traps on the field. I know that I'm pretty sure Nightbeam was around at that point. Cosmic Cyclone, Galactic Cyclone. I don't consider those to be upgrades because it's not the same effect plus. This is, which is good. Moving into the traps, we get a lot more of the rest of the Phantom Knights cards. So we get a copy of the Fog Blade. Activate by targeting an effect monster on the field. Negate the monster's effects. That face-up monster cannot attack. Monsters cannot target that face-up monster for attacks. When it leaves the field, destroy this card. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Target 1 Phantom Knight's monster in the graveyard. Special summon it, banish it when it leaves the field. That effect is once per turn. Again, I remember this being like a really good tech card for a minute. It's pretty alright. They got the Dark Gauntlets. Send a Phantom Knight spell trap from the deck to the graveyard. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack while you control no cards, and this is in the graveyard. Special summon this card in defense as an effect monster. Dark Warrior 4-star, 300 by 600. Banish when leave play. This card is not considered a trap at that point. If summoned this way, this card gains 300 defense for every Phantom Knight spell trap in the graveyard. So again, you kind of have like 2 sets of Phantom Knights. You have the monsters and you have the traps. Next up, we got the Lost Vambrace. Target a monster on the field. If the target is still face up on the field, the Phantom Knight's monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, that target loses 600 attack. Also, its level becomes 2. These effects last until the end of this turn. Then, special summon this card in defense as a normal monster that is no longer considered a trap. Dark Warrior 2-star, 600 by 0. Okay. The foil out of this will be a copy of the Mist Claws. Target 1 of your banished Phantom Knight monsters, add it to your hand. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack while this card is in your graveyard, target 1 level 4 or lower Phantom Knight's monster in your graveyard. Special summon the monster, and if you do, special summon this card as a normal monster with the same original level as that monster. Warrior, Dark, 0/0. No longer treated as a trap, and if summoned this way, banish when leaves field. Again, we can use this for Xyz. We can use this for link climbing. It's not bad. 1 copy, Shade Brigadine. Brigadine. Yeah. Special summon this in defense as a normal monster. It will be a 4-star Dark Warrior, 0/3. No longer treated as a trap. If you have no traps in your graveyard, you can activate this card the turn it is set, activating only one copy of these per turn. Which is, again, it's kind of weird. I feel like we never got to see that played in Paleozoics, even though it totally would have jived. They do give you 2 copies of Shadow Veil. Shadow Veil says target a face-up monster you control against 300 attack and defense. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack while this card is in your graveyard, special summon it back in defense position as a normal monster. Warrior, Dark, 4-star, 0/3. No longer considered a trap. If summoned this way, banish it when it leaves the field. Not bad. They're going to give you a copy of the Tomb Shield. Special summon it in attack position as a normal monster. 0/0, 3-star Dark Warrior. No longer treated as a trap. During your turn, except the turn this is sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from the graveyard, then target one face-up trap your opponent controls. Negate its effects until the end of this turn. That one could be good depending on the time period you end up playing it in. It's just different. 2 copies of Wrong Magnet Ring. The way this one works, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, negate that attack, then special summon this in attack mode as an effect monster. Dark Warrior level 2/0/0 with the following effect that is also not considered to be a trap. The effect it'll have is quick effect. You can send this card and one face-up card you control to the graveyard, either a Phantom Knight's monster or a continuous spell trap, to draw 2 cards. So again, it's not terrible. It's kind of good. This is pretty fair for being something that we're going to throw in draft. 2 copies of the Phantom Knight's Sword. Activate this by targeting face-up monster on the field. It gains 800 attack. Also, if the target will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy this card instead. When it leaves the field, destroy this card. You can banish this card from your graveyard and then target one Phantom Knight's monster in the graveyard, special summon it, banish it when it leaves the field, use each effect once per turn. And this would be great generic tech in other decks as well, because it not only offers the protection, but it doesn't say it needs to be for Phantom Knights. And then the last main deck card they give you a couple copies of Phantom Knight's Wing. Just says target one face-up monster on the field, gains 500 attack. Also, the first time that target will be destroyed by battle or card effect, this turn it is not destroyed. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Phantom Knight's monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. This is a once per turn effect. So again, it's not a bad main deck. It is, of course, better if, again, you bought 3 copies of this, which, again, when this was released, the box was, I want to say $30. I just spent 40, so that's not too bad. But it's still darn close to $100 once you factor in your tax rate and everything, for you to get 3 decks. But you are buying 3 structures at a time, so there's that too to think about. Other great things that were like really cool reprints at this time were the extra deck. Again, we got 10 cards there. You get copies of Dante, Traveler, the Burning Abyss, which is, again, just a sick rank 3. So any 2 3s once per turn to attach material from this card, and then choose number 1 to 3, sending that mini from deck to discard, gaining 500 attack per card sent by this method. And then if this card attacks, it is changed to defense at the end of the battle phase. You will notice he's got 2,500 defense. So that's awesome. And then if this card is in the graveyard, the rest of the effect has to do with Burning Abyss. We don't play Burning Abyss. He's just here for the mill. You get the Dark Rebellion Xyz, 2 4s to attach 2 materials. Target a face-up card your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half, and this card gains it. Back in the day, we had a video game promo called Ruroku. And this is the effect. And it took up until we got to the Xyz era for them to actually replicate that card effect. So it's kind of cool. Then you have the Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon. This is one of the ones that you want to use the rank up magic on. Again, it goes up by the 1. This effect rips both materials off, so it's going to meet all of the means. You're not going to play this the normal way. You're not playing 3 level 5s. Instead, this and the copy of the rank up spell are going to be the 2 materials you're going to have under. And then what it's going to say is, if it has the Dark Rebellion Disease monster as material, you get once per turn you get detach material from this. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change the attack to 0, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to that monster's original attack. Instead of taking half, it's going to be a full withdrawal. I want you to reread that sentence and notice it does not say till the end of the turn. That is a permanent possession of those attack value. Of course, if it got put face down through whatever, Book of Moon, oh man, I can't even think about the spirit right now. Tsukuyomi, Sol and Luna, whatever could flip this thing face down. It will then lose the stat bonus. Otherwise, that is a permanent stat bonus, which is kind of nuts. And then the second effect, when your opponent activates a monster effect, as a quick effect, you may detach material from this to negate it, and if you do, destroy it. And then you can special summon one Xyz monster from your graveyard, which again should have you doing the Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon if you know you're going to be resolving that effect. And I'm gonna tell you why. The answer is because you have to do your discard to detach first. And then it says, and then after the fact, then you can, which means your target will actually be there by the time it gets around to looking at that effect. At which point you now have 2 dragons. So if you're going to try to link build, you can get there faster. The next one is the Evil Swarm Nightmare, which is kind of cool. It's a little like reskin of the Vorse Raider. 2 dark monsters, level 4. When your opponent special summons monsters, except during the damage step, you can detach one material from this card, change the special summon monsters to face down defense position. Again, it's just really good. It's definitely a stumbling type effect. It's a little more hardcore than stumbling. And if I'm not mistaken, this guy is like 50 points added to both stats, and then the stats flipped from Vorse Raider. So again, it's just cool. Plus Thanatos. Thanatos is good. 2 level 4 darks to make him 2350 by 1350. Once per turn, quick effect, detach a material from this card. This face-up card is unaffected by other monster card effects this turn. Again, generically speaking, this is funny. This deck is going to use it. It's just good. You get Leviair. Leviair was talking about cards getting banished. This will allow you to special summon banished monsters from This one will let you detach material to target banished level 4 lower monsters and then special summon them back. It's just 2 3s. It's not a bad stat. It was a good card when it was new. Number 86, Heroic Champion, and I don't know, Rongo Mineid. I'm not exactly 100% sure on this. I'm not sure. This guy might be on the limits list these days. 2 or more, up to 2 to 5, we should say. Level 4 warriors. And I gotta ask, if I was able to make a fusion warrior appear in my extras or a synchro warrior appear in my extra zone, could this be updated? I would say no, because this did have a link in it. So yeah, it's anywhere between 2 and 5 level 4 warriors. Once per turn during the opponent's end phase, detach material from this. This card gains effects based on the number of cards still attached. 1 or more cannot be destroyed in battle. 2 or more gains 1500 attack and defense, goes up to Blue Eyes, 3Ks. 3 or more unaffected by other card effects. 4 or more, your opponent cannot normal or special summon monsters. Yeah, this guy's probably banned. And then 5, once per turn, destroy all cards your opponent controls. So again, kind of dirty. Love it. Phantom Knights of Breaksword, which is one of the 2-3 Phantom Knight cards that we get here. It's going to be a rank 3. Once per turn, detach material from this. Target a card that you control and 1 card the opponent controls. Destroy both. If this Xyz summon card is destroyed, you can target 2 Phantom Knight monsters with the same level in your graveyard. Special summon them. Increase their level by 1. and you cannot special summon for the remainder of the turn except Dark. Again, this doesn't really matter, and it doesn't mean that you have to go into Xyz plays, but it does let you do some fun stuff. Then you have the Phantom Knights of Cursed Javelin. He is the rank 2. He has 2/2s. You can detach one material from this card, target a face-up monster that your opponent controls. Until the end of this turn, change its attack to 0, negate its effects. This is a quick effect if this card has a Phantom Knights card as material. You can only use this effect once per turn. So again, kind of makes sense. He's kind of sick looking. I like it. It's good stuff. And then the last card that they gave us was the newest card, the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardyke. And again, just a really cool looking warrior. You can tell it's a combination of different parts of the Phantom Knights throughout. It is a Link 3, takes 2+ Dark. During the main phase, you can send 1 the Phantom Knights from deck to grave, then set 1 Phantom Knights spell trap directly from the deck to the spell trap zone. If a Dark Xyz monsters is special summoned to his own zones, this card points to. While this monster is on the field, except during the damage step, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. Each effect is once per turn and cannot be used as link material itself. And just like a little history, because of the heroes portion of this box, like we got this, and I want to say Malicious had just came back to 3. And they went, well, this guy's like really good. The Phantom Knights are actually pretty good. It was a goofy way to build your 3-of deck, was playing a 3 of this box. As far as this deck goes for the draft, this is a very cool deck for draft. There's definitely obvious choices that you would choose to knock out. I would also say that if you are looking at this as a base of where to start playing, this could be fun. It lets you do something unique. You get trap monsters. You do get some synchro or some tuners in here. So you could technically throw some synchro in here, but some of the better plays like Kagamucha don't allow you to do synchro stuff. So it's just kind of funny that we did get a cool tuner in the form of Cockadoodle-Doo, because it's just going to be wasted on us. So this is the deck. I would say when it was released, this deck was an obvious like 7.5 out of 10. Today it's closer to like a 5 or a 6. You could still do stuff with this. I'm sure if you bought 3 of these, you'd be able to win at least a couple of your games at locals. There are obvious cards that I do believe are banned right now in the advanced format. I'm pretty sure the Heroic Champion's on there, and maybe Rusty Bardyke. Just because of the way they move. They move different. They are definitely invasive predators. So there's that. That's today. Tomorrow, we're going to do a different one. I'm not sure yet. Might go with the Nordic ones just to like knock out all the bad pronunciations now. We'll save the heroes for Friday. Because I do have an Earth beatdown for the Android format time period for Thursday. So for now, hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck review. Go out, enjoy your day. Support the channel or don't, doesn't matter. Just be kind to yourself and be kind to others, okay? See you next time, my friends. Later.